Happy Friday. I'm Carissa Wiley. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my craft room. I'm so glad you're here. We've got a lot of weigh-ins on the hair, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But I just want to say thank you all for being here. It is such just so sweet that you all will spend your time here with me. Yes, I did get my hair done today. I was out the door by 7:30 this morning for an 8 o'clock hair appointment, and thank you all for your comments. I don't wear my hair straight too often. You probably saw it straight a couple of days ago. We decided to cut some bangs. So there are some like definite bangs, not just a long layer. And I'm not loving it. So I appreciate that you all love it, but okay, here's my beef with it. It is very heavy right here, and I feel like I just need to go back and have it blended a bit on this side more. Anyway, we're not going to go into the hair a lot, but I'm not loving it, but I'm so glad you all love it. Also, I style my hair a little differently than my hairstylist does. So I'm just kind of trying to sit with it for a minute and see if when I style it, I like it better. So, everybody is loving the hair. Okay, well, the verdict is in, okay? Although I'm not sure. Y'all are not the kind of people that would just be like, hey, I don't like the hair. Okay, few things I want to get to before we get started. Number one, if you are here for the first time and you are not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, turn on the notifications, all the things. We're going to have a great time today playing with Concord 9th new products. Also, I have a link in the YouTube description below. I have links for a lot of things today. So there's a few different links. Number one, I have a link for the Spellbinders die cutting sale. There's up to 30% off at Spellbinders on specific die cutting elements at this time. And there are a few things from my Shine Bright collection where I collaborated with Spellbinders on sale. So if you want to pick those things up on sale, the etched disco balls, which are the disco ball dies, they're on sale right now. So grab those while you can. If you know, and there's a link directly to all the sale items in the YouTube description. Of course, they are affiliate links. I do need to disclose that. Next up, I have information on a giveaway today. I have a giveaway sitting right here. Do you see this giveaway? This is a full bundle from Concord 9th that I am giving away. It's the Our House bundle. It includes the Our House die set, which is a large die set. I have a video on my channel featuring this. The Our House extra dies, as well as the Our House stamp set. And to enter to win, there's a few things, okay? And I'm sorry in advance for my friends overseas. If for some reason we pick someone overseas, what I'll probably do is send you some sort of digital gift card, because I just shipping overseas is a nightmare. And so I don't really want to have to ship product overseas. So here's the deal. And I think I made the form where only US residents can enter. Ugh, I messed up. So anyway, I need you to be 18 or older because I'm going to be asking for your address. But there is a Google form in the YouTube description below. Can you just go fill that out? You do have to be present to win. I'm going to announce it at the end of the YouTube live. So you have to be present to win. Go fill out that form if you want to enter to win the Our House bundle. And at the end of the live, I am going to choose a random winner. I'm going to use random.org to choose the number, and then I'll find the winner from that. And then I'll have you email me at carissa@sprinkledwithglitter.com. We can go over that again. The final thing I want to say is my friend Megan Andrew is here. Thank you, Megan. But I do have a link to her live stream from yesterday. It's a live stream replay that you can watch back featuring this perfectly tied bundle. So if you want more inspiration featuring this bundle, after we're done here, go check out Megan's live that she did yesterday so that you can have more inspiration. Okay, are we ready? Are we ready? Are we done talking about the hair? Can we be done talking about the hair? I think it's because Like I was like in there with my flat iron trying to get these to do what I wanted them to do. And I don't know. I think we need some blending. Anyway, yes, absolutely for the giveaway. I'm so glad you're all here. And as I can do it more often, I will definitely do it. So make sure you go over there and fill it out right now while we're here. And like I said, you have to be present to win. So I'm going to be looking for you to acknowledge it in the comments, and then you can email me afterwards. All right. So let's get down to the desktop, shall we? Because we have a little work to do. We'll go to the picture in picture. Hello, everyone. Hello. So this is what we're going to be using today. This is the Perfectly Tied bundle from Concord and 9th. There are 4 products in this bundle: a die set, a stamp set, a embossing folder, and a stencil set. And we're going to use actually all of it today. And I would like to create 2 cards. And so we need to get going. The color scheme I'm using, it's like girl to the max, girly. I'm going to be making some baby girl cards. And when I saw this bundle, I thought for sure we have to make some baby girl cards. So yes, US residents only. If you fill out the form and you do, just click yes. If you happen to be outside the United States, I will find a way to send you like a digital gift card code or something. So just fill it out. Just say you live in the US, because I made that mistake on the thing. And if you live in Canada or something else, then I will have to, I don't want to ship product to another country. It's too much of a hassle. So I apologize for that in advance. So we're going to do baby girl cards, and we're going to use, these are some pinks that I don't often use. Carnation and Briar Rose. They're a little more purpley. We're going to also bring in some mushroom, some ballet slipper. Trust me, it's going to be fabulous. So I also have some panels here that I've already embossed with the embossing folder, but we'll go over that because we're going to do more than one panel, just depending on the amount of time that we have. But I have this embossed with the 3D embossing folder on Ballet Slipper, Carnation, and Briar Rose. So we're going to just mix up these colors, but I want to show you how to do this live and in person, right? So we're going to start out with the embossing folder, and then we will run that through, and then we'll start stenciling, okay? You guys love this color combo. That's fabulous. And yes, Francis, mushroom looks amazing with the pinks. And the reason is that pink and black look great together, but sometimes black feels a little hardcore for like a baby card, although we are going to use it today. So I think sometimes knocking back the intensity with using something like a mushroom helps with that. And so that's what I like to do. I am going to emboss this with the sandwich for a 3D embossing folder on my Platinum 6 die cutting machine. And what that means is I'm going to use the platform base, which is A. I have my 6x6 cardstock. This is Ballet Slipper inside the embossing folder. And then I'm going to place that onto my platform, and I'm going to add the D adapter plate and run this through. Winnie says she rarely uses mushroom. Mushroom is something that I will use when I want a little bit less than black. Does that make sense? So black is a great neutral. It goes with all the things, but sometimes you don't want it to be so intense. And so mushroom's what I reach for. And you'll see that here in action in just a little bit. So I've run that through. I did not do any sort of moisture on it. When I did moisture yesterday and these dried back, look at the warping I have. Same cardstock, added a spritz of water, and you know what? It embosses just fine without the moisture. So, but look at all this texture. That's because this is a 3D embossing folder. So you have areas where the texture is deeper than others, and that really brings this embossing folder to life. So I love that. So we've embossed. Let's move on. We're going to use the Perfectly Tied stencil pack. Mushroom for Sentiments is great, and it's a good neutral gray. So what you're going to do in order to ink blend on all of these is you're going to grab your stencil. It almost like locks into place over the areas that you've embossed. Like you can almost, like when a die kind of fits into the previous die lines that you maybe you die cut it, but it didn't die cut all the way through, and you want to replace the die to die cut. It's kind of like that because there's so much texture on this that as you put the stencil into place, it kind of locks into place, and then you have some easy lining up to do. So you're just gonna line that up with the embossing that's underneath, and I'm gonna grab a few blending brushes here because we're gonna need them today. And for ballet slipper, I'm gonna use ballet slipper, and I'm gonna go over this entire thing, okay? So I'm not doing any special blending here. I'm just adding color, and this is gonna give us a tone on tone. So I'm glad that made sense to you, Winnie. It does just, it's like a soft black. That's what I would call it, like a soft black. Remember back in the day when you had like soft black? Okay, so we're just going over the whole thing with some ballet slipper. And I re-inked my ballet slipper yesterday because it really needed it. It's one of those that I use all the time. And it's a lighter color, so when it starts to kind of get a little dried out, you definitely notice it. Now I have magnets holding this down. I'm gonna move the magnet as I blend over this corner because it's in my way. Okay, and you can kind of tell when you have ink everywhere. We have these up here, and we're gonna do this on a couple of colors. So what I've picked is a color scheme where all the colors are kind of next to each other. So they kind of move into each other, and that's going to allow me to do a tone on tone and then have some darker areas. Now, if you want to, you could definitely do like another layer of ballet slipper for your shadow areas. But I thought it would be nice to have like that two-tone to give it a little more contrast, to bump it up just a little bit since we're doing a very soft blend with the tone on tone. So I thought bumping up the contrast would be nice. So here we go, the peel and reveal, and we have color on all the areas of those bows. Love these so much. Now, here's where they're really gonna come to life. I'm gonna take stencil number 2. These are, by the way, marked with an etched number at the top. Stencil number 2 is kind of the shadow layer. And so I'm gonna look through and I'm gonna line it up as best I can. Now, the areas are smaller that I'm lining up, so I'm just doing the best that I can to get it lined up with the embossed areas below. And once I feel like I have it in a good spot, I'm gonna hold it in place again. You could use tape, you could use sticky mats. Here's the deal. I'm working with a 6x6 sheet of paper and a 6x6 stencil. So there's no extra area on the stencil to stick it to a sticky mat. And so I just thought we'll just hold it down very gingerly with a magnet. So we're going to use, for this, y'all are quiet right now, we're going to use carnation for the darker part, and that's going to give us some more contrast. I'm not gonna go hard on this though. Carnation is already darker than ballet slipper, so I don't need to go super intense with the blending. If I just add a light layer of this, it's gonna be enough to give us the shadow. Yes, Jen likes to use mushroom when she's matting because it's just a little bit softer. Yeah, it's like a soft black. And it's a great, because it gives contrast still, but it's not like in your face contrast. It's like just enough. So mushroom, don't sleep on mushroom. It's a good one. If you have it in your stash, the next time you're thinking, I want like a sentiment that's not a color, try mushroom instead of black and see how you like it. And when you're at that point with like a sentiment, then it's like you won't ruin the whole thing, right? You could always, if you're using a Misty stamping tool and you stamp your sentiment in mushroom and you don't like it, you can always just stamp right over the top of it again with some black ink, and you have saved the day if you hate it. But I don't think you'll hate it. That's the thing. Okay. So let's do this. I need to move this. I'm going to hold this in place. I may regret this. May regret it, like the bangs today. So, is it cold where y'all are at? Because it is chilly in California today. It is rainy where I am in California, which is the Central Valley, and the wind is blowing and it's so chilly. Okay, so there's the carnation for our darker. Now this is gonna, trust me, it's gonna bump back a little bit. So don't look at it and say it looks hideous just yet, okay? All right, so now that we have that done, let's move on to the carnation cardstock. I think this is carnation. Let me just double check. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna double check. These are the pinks that I don't use too much. Yeah, this is carnation. I thought it was carnation, but then I was like, it looks dark. Is it sweet pea? It is not sweet pea. Okay, so carnation, yeah, it's super chilly and windy. Oh, Francis says it's hot in Texas. Well, it's not hot here. It's cold today, and we had some beautiful weather last week, and it got us all, you know, tricked into like this complacency, and then it got cold again, and it is like real cold. Okay, so I'm lining up again with the embossed areas. I'm using some magnets to hold it into place, and this is carnation cardstock. So this time I'm going to start with carnation ink and do a blend over the entire area, just like we did the last time. Okay. And if you wanted to do like special blending, you totally could. But a lot of times, because these smooth out and that sort of thing, you're going to get a good blend, even if you're just kind of doing quick blending like we're doing today. So what's going to happen is we're going to go through and we're going to die cut these bows. Now, trust me, this works because I tried it yesterday. Very rarely do I try things ahead of time. Usually we just try them out here together on the live. But I thought, you know what? I knew I had an appointment this morning. I knew I might be rushing to get back in time for my live stream. And so I was like, I need to just know that what I'm thinking is going to work. And so I tried this last night just with the tone on tone blending. I didn't make any cards. But I just tried it and die cutting it and to see if it worked, and it did. So, okay, so we've gone over stencil number 1 with carnation on carnation cardstock. Okay, so now we have this. You see all that dimension? Look at the back. That's how you really know that there's tons of dimension. And then we're gonna take stencil number 2. We're gonna line it up in place. And I think these tails are a really good kind of place to look through first, kind of these larger areas. So you get those larger areas kind of lined up to begin with, and then you can kind of scooch those smaller areas into place. And you can really kind of see where you're going with this, so it's not a problem. Okay, so this time we're gonna go up a color for our shadow, and we're gonna use Briar Rose. Now, Briar Rose has even more purple in it than the carnation, but they are definitely more purpley pinks than they are like warm pinks, like orangey pinks or blushy pinks. They definitely have that purple undertone to them, and they're really fun to use, although they're not generally what I reach for all the time. So this is a little different for me. I mean, we all know I use pink like it's going out of style, but you know, normally I'm reaching for ballet slipper or a blushy color and watermelon. These are definitely more towards the purple spectrum of pinks. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I have to move that guy out of the way. Okay, so quick blend over that. And now we have these beautiful bows. Aren't those pretty? Love that. Okay, so Briar Rose is our last and final. We're gonna line up again. I'm not sure if I'll use the Briar Rose, but we're gonna do it anyway. Okay, so we're just gonna get it in place. I'm looking through the stencil, making sure I can see the raised areas through the stencil. I'm not cleaning my stencils between because I'm using like the same color tones, and I'm going from light to dark, so it doesn't seem to be making a huge difference. If you're going from like different color to different color, you definitely want to clean between. Now here's the deal. On Briar Rose, I don't have something, I don't have something that's darker. And so on this first layer of the stencil, I'm going to go a little lighter on my blending so that I can use Briar Rose again for the shadow layer and do it a little more intense and have that contrast that I'm looking for. So I'm just like, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, don't be a bull in a china shop like you like to do. Just, you know, be gentle. Be gentle, like I tell my dog. Be gentle. Okay, so we have a layer of Briar Rose. Beth Jen, Texas, says she saw what Megan did yesterday and she had to see what I did. Well, thanks for stopping by. And Nicole says, I love the color palette you use with Spellbinders and C9 colors together. It's amazing. I love that too. And I was looking at the orchid color, and honestly, if I had to pick a color from Concord and 9th that's most like the orchid color, which is the lighter of the purples that I used in that palette last week in our live, I would pick Briar Rose. I think it's the closest that I would have to the orchid. Okay, so we have Stencil 2 lined up, and we're gonna go full speed on this for the blending. You notice I'm tapping into my ink and blending right away. Okay, so I want this to have some contrast compared to the last layer we did, and between the contrast and the ink colors and the dimension of the embossing folder, we're going to get some really great, you know, highs and lows, shadows, lights, those sorts of things. Now, for those of you just coming in, there is a giveaway. You must be 18 years old or older. It says only US, but you can enter if you're not in the US. I just won't mail you products. I'll probably send you like a digital gift card code or something. So anyway, you have to be present to win, but there is a link to the Google form in the YouTube description below. So if you have not entered for the giveaway yet, you can go ahead and do that now. Okay, so we have all of our stenciling done. Look, these might be my favorite. I love that. Love that so much. Now, the other thing that you can do is if you're going to die cut these, there are only a few die cuts, and I do know that I am going to probably use 2 of the, you know what? No, we don't need to do another one. If we need to do another one, we'll do it later. Let's not spend our time doing that. So we have those done. Let's set my ink blending brushes to the side. And now we're going to start die cutting. Now here's what I know you're thinking. Like, you're going to die cut those and you're going to lose all of your dimension. I tried this yesterday. It worked. So, and I didn't lose all my dimension. I did lose some, but it worked overall. So I'm going to take the coordinating dies and I'm going to line them up around my stenciled and embossed places. And I'm going to die cut the bows on each of these panels that we'll be using to build our cards today. And these are kind of easy to figure out where they go because, you know, there's only one bow with tails that long. And then you have this really round one. Now this is the only one that I'm like, this is weird because it butts up against that one. So you can't really cut both of them at the same time. Kind of makes it a little more difficult. So just keep that in mind. We have this little guy down here. And honestly, I wish there were more dies. I wish you could cut out more of these bows because I love this one up here. But you could totally fussy cut these too. So you could just go around the outside. Now we're going to line up. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 bow dies. So we're going to line these up and we're going to run this through. Okay. Now on my Empress, which is what I'm using to die cut today, I do not have my metal shim in. And that's because I don't want to put too much pressure on these. I just want enough to cut them because I don't want to push out all of the dimension that we've added with the embossing folder. So you can see on the back, we still have the dimension there. And now we have our die cut bow. Now, If you wanted to run these through again with the embossing folder, you totally could. I think it's a little fussy. I think it's a little difficult. It's not the easiest thing to do. You could try to hold them in place with some tape or something like that, but it seems hard, you know? Marianne says, question, Carissa, could you put the die cuts back in the embossing folder if you want more dimension? Yes, yep, I had just answered that. So I'm glad I mentioned that. Okay. And maybe we'll try it on one or two, but I think you're gonna see like, it's kind of fussy to do it. It really is. Now, let's just try it. Okay, so we're gonna take this guy here. And what you could do is you can kind of like, just like you would a die. So you could kind of nestle it there and you can kind of feel it lock into place. The problem is there's nothing to like hold it there. If I put tape on it, it could definitely like tear my die cut or make a little impression in the edge. But let's try it, okay? So the worst thing that could happen is we do everything all over again. Just kidding. So you can kind of feel where they kind of lock into the raised areas. So I'm using the raised area of the embossing folder on my desk facing up, and I'm placing them right back onto the embossing folder, kind of nestling them into place. You see how everything wants to move. The other way I thought you could do this is you could nestle them back into the negative space of this panel, and you could kind of use that to try to hold them in place, but I think that this is probably the easiest way to do it. So we're going to do that. We're going to hold this in place. We're going to slide our little thing off. We're going to go right down over it. Okay. Now I'm not going to move my die cut machine back in here. I'm just going to take it to my die cut machine and run it through with the same sandwich that I did earlier. Okay. I'm coming back. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. And we'll see if we got it in the right spot. Oh, it looks like we did get it in the right spot. So that worked out good. Yeah. Look at this. Oh, it came back to life. It's definitely doable. You have to be very careful, but it's doable. Look at that. So much dimension. I think I like that. So I'm glad we tried it. We might just do that again. Okay. So let's cut out our next set of bows, because we're going to need a lot of bows for what we're doing today. I have 2 cards planned, and so we're going to need a lot of bows. So let's just start getting everything into place. That is the one that butts up against the other one. So we just have to pick and choose. Now, here's the deal. You could stencil these without the embossing folder. However, and then emboss them. However, I do think it's easier to emboss them once they're already embossed, because you have kind of a place for it to fall into place. Does that make sense? So you have like that already impressed backside where it's kind of easier to get them to fall more into place with the embossing folder once that's already pressed in. Okay, so we're gonna die cut these now. We're doing all the bows today. Marisha's here. Yeah, I mean, I could use some tape runner. I'm looking, could you not put the background in and then place the ribbons in that? Yeah, so we talked about that. We could try that. I think that's gonna be more fuss. So let's try it that way. Winnie wants to know if we could just put the background in, like I said, and then use the background to kind of hold it into place. And I think we could. I think it's gonna be more difficult because there's going to be more things to manage, but maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we'll try that out. But we have some time to learn today, so we'll just do that. Ooh, my magnet just grabbed all of those dies that I threw on the table. Hold on. My die shifted out of place. I think I lost a die somewhere. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's still in the paper, that's why. Okay. Now the other thing that you could do is you could trim down this panel and use it as a card front. So you could just use it as is. Let's try this. Okay. We're going to try this. I'm going to just lock it into place with the embossing that's already there. And then what I'm going to do, we're going to try another way. And hopefully this is helpful for you guys to see this. So I'm just kind of like feeling where it kind of locks into place, just like you would with a die. And then I'm going to hold this panel in place with a little piece of tape on the edge. Not over anything that's of consequence to me, because if I pull that tape off, the pressure of the die cutting machine is going to push that into place. It's going to cause it to stick. So I'm just going to hold it in place kind of on the edge here towards the back. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll just kind of nestle these in to the die cut lines and see if our lineup is kind of in the same area, like where we get better results. Whether it was just lining them up as they were, or, you know, putting them into the negative space. The thing about this is it will bring back to life all the other ones that got smashed down as we were die cutting just a few of the dies that we have. Okay, so we're going to do that. And then I'm going to take this over. I'm going to run it through my die cut machine. I only have the platinums over here. There's just, keep bringing it back and forth is just not worth it. Okay. Because I'm using the same sandwich that I used before. Okay, so here's what happened. That slipped out. So I just lost a bow because it slipped out in the transfer somewhere. And then these all got brought back to life. And now I have tape that is stuck for days. Yeah, I saw someone say earlier too, bows are really in right now. And they are. If you noticed, I noticed all like the Pinterest things over the holidays had these giant bows on these trees, and it was just one big bow at the top. And so bows are a thing right now. I wonder if I put this guy back on, see how it's all wonky now. I wonder if I put him back on, if I could save it. No, it's not worth it. Just call it good. Call it good. Sometimes you just got to let some things go. Okay, so we're on our third and final panel. We're going to die cut this. So let's get our dies in place. I don't know which one was better, quite honestly. I don't know if the negative die cut space gives you a false sense of security, so maybe you're not as careful. I don't know. So I'm not sure which way is better, but I think like if you do it at home, like you'll know which one you like better. I'm going over to the wrong die cut machine as I'm trying to read. Yeah, I mean, it totally works. Totally works. I just wish I could run both of these dies through at the same time so I could cut out all my bows at the same time, but they're just too close. They're just a tad too close together to do both of those bows at one time. They like run into each other and then you have issues, you know? So let's do this guy. And we're going to line him up and run it through. I do wish you could cut out all the bows, Nicole. Me too. And I mean, really, you could. You could go through and you could fussy cut some of them because some of them are like stinking cute. Like this one up here I love. This one down here I love. I wish you could die cut all the bows. But I guess, you know, there's only so much room in a die set, and so I think they had to just pick and choose. I'm going to put these back on the backer just so I don't lose them. I'm not really usually a super clean crafter, or like one that you know, kind of cleans as I go, but today I need to just make sure I don't lose any dies, you know? And this is exactly what I'm talking about, ripping the cardstock. This is why I didn't do it over any areas of consequence when I put this in place. So I'm gonna just line this up again. We'll try the negative die cut thing and see what my results are this time, because the first time I nailed it by just putting the actual die cuts onto the raised portions. The second time, not so much. We had one kind of shift. I'm just making sure that everything's kind of falling into place where it needs to be. Okay, and then let's put these guys in. We're gonna re-press. Honestly, there is still dimension on these too. It's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can show you. There's still dimension on these. You can really see on the back. So you haven't lost all your dimension when you die cut, but you have lost some of it. And so maybe it is worth it to bring back some life to these, but it's definitely like optional is what I would say. Okay. I'm gonna make sure everything's where it needs to be. And then I'm gonna close down, and I'm carefully going to transfer this time so that I don't mess anything up. And we'll run this through. Okay. I'm gonna leave you there. Platinum 6 stays where it's at. And we have great results. All of them stayed in place this time. So we're good. So both of those ways work. If you do it with the panel, like the panel like we're doing here, then all of these other ribbons kind of come back to life too, and you get, you know, life back brought back into those. So then you could like fussy cut these out. Isn't that fun? Love these. Okay. So we lost one in all of that, but we have, let's see, 2, 4, 5. We have 6 of each color. So 6 times 3 is 18 minus 1 because one man went down. So we have 17 bows. All right. So now I have 2 baby cards in mind. The first one is going to be a very modern baby card. And for this, I am going to use the new Pretty Posies dies from Christina Werner's line. I love this oval situation here. And there is one that cuts like a fine outline and one that cuts a solid image. And this is going to blow your mind because you don't think baby when you think of this necessarily. But what I've done is I've taken the Diagonal Lines background stamp from Christina Werner's collection, and I have gone ahead and stamped it. Now this is not mushroom, this is black. So this is VersaFine Onyx Black Pigment ink, and I stamped it ahead of time last night because I wanted it to have time to dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to die cut an oval from this, and I'm going to line this up. I'm kind of looking at where the diagonal lines are hitting on my oval so that I make sure that it's not too like wonky. And then on the frame, I am going to grab some matte gold cardstock. Have a little scrap here, and I'm going to die cut the frame from that. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to run this through, and I actually stamped a few of these panels because, y'all, I'm going to use this diagonal striped paper all the stinking time. I made 3 cards yesterday featuring some more of Christina's new line, And I will be sharing those in a pre-recorded video next week. I used the thank you words and the missing your hugs bundle. And I used this black and white striped paper on it as well. And man, I'm telling you, I'm in love. You can use it on everything and it's fantastic. Okay, so then you have this little oval that you can just save for something else, or you can die cut something else out of it. I'm going to put that to the side. And then I am going to grab, now this is where I'm going to shock you, simple dots, okay? I think I don't know, maybe you're not shocked by all of the blacks and the grays that I'm using, but I'm going to grab this and I'm going to place it face up on my work surface. And I'm going to grab an A2 size card base here. I'm going to actually make a base. So this is 8.5 by 5.5 inches. And I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. The stripes are so good, y'all. So good. I'm going to use them all the time. So just know that. My boss is totally texting me right now. Sorry, you'll have to wait. I put it in the group message earlier. Okay, so I have my A2 card base, and I'm going to take mushroom. And I have all of this linked below, by the way. Also, the giveaway is linked below, so, you know, if you haven't entered that yet, make sure you do that because we're going to draw at the end. Okay, so I'm inking that up in mushroom. You know what? I'm not confident that I inked enough of that, so I'm just going to go edge to edge, even though I probably don't need to. I'm going to take my card base, and I'm looking for, there it is, my notes for today's live. And I'm going to place this onto the dot background. This is Simple Dots, I believe it's called. And I'm going to rub all over. And I got gray ink on my fingernails, so we'll just wipe that on my pants. All right. So versatile is right. I'm getting ink all over myself, but I'm just rubbing this onto my card base, and then I'm going to pick that up. Oh, isn't that adorable? Love it. Okay. So now we have that, and we're going to take a panel of vellum. We're going to lay it over the top, and this is where we're going. This is where we are going with this. Isn't this fun? I love this. I love this so much. Okay, so the panel of vellum, well, shoot, I just dropped my blade out of my trimmer. Okay, let me pick that up. The panel of vellum, pants are the best tool ever. Yes. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to go to 5.5. Actually, let's go to 5 1/4 by 4. So it's slightly smaller than an A2 size card front. Okay. And we're going to do this. This, we're going to do that. Okay. Love this so much. Okay. This is like so my jam right here. And then we'll put a little sentiment on the bottom, and this card will be like done. So this one we're just going to adhere together. It's 1:46. We're doing okay on time. The other one is not super involved either. I don't know if you're coming in late, you probably don't know, but I'm making 2 baby cards today featuring the Perfectly Tied bundle from Concord 9th. So I have liquid glue on the back of this. And this die set to me is worth it just for this tiny oval. I love this so much. Okay, I'm going to glue that in place. You stay there. Stay there. Yes, the layered patterns are so much fun. Cindy, thanks for joining me. So glad you're here. So this is how we're going to kind of conceal adhering the vellum. We're going to put like a layer of foam behind it, and that's going to soften those polka dots in the background. And the mushroom is just a little softer than the black that we're using on the front. So it works, you know. So let's do this. Have some foam adhesive here. You guys have any questions while I'm adhering? Now's a good time to ask them. I'm just trimming down some foam adhesive to put behind my oval. What do you recommend for what to use for vellum slider that you just use for the chop style paper cutter? Huh? What do you for slider? What kind of blade? I just use the standard blade for that. Sid, I'm not sure if that's what you're asking, but I just use the standard blade. You could use a guillotine trimmer. You could use the Tim Holtz rotary trimmer. Any of those would work. Let's see. And then the vellum that I like to use is the Stamp Market cardstock vellum. It is just so good. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm holding my vellum in place, and hold on, I gotta get everything squared up here. The key to making sure everything is square is starting with it square on your work surface. If you're looking at something crooked, you're gonna mess it up. So I'm gonna just kind of look through here. I'm looking up there. I want it more up towards the top than the bottom. And then I'll just place that down. Okay, love that. Now on the back side of this, we're gonna take some more foam adhesive, place it on the back, and we're going to adhere the vellum to the card base. Nicole says the vellum from the Stamp Market is seriously the best. It is so good. I agree. I agree. Okay. So now we're going to remove the backer from this adhesive, and we're going to place this onto the card base here. And then our vellum's going to kind of float over the card front or the card base. So it kind of softens that. Then we're going to take our bow. We're going to trim down some foam adhesive. Yeah, I would say that if you're not using a sharp blade, that can be a problem, especially if you're using a lighter weight vellum, Sid. So Talisa Inc. just mentioned that in the comments, and that is true. If you have a bad blade and very fine vellum, then you may not have great luck. So either if you're having problems with it, try replacing your blade or try using a heavier weight vellum. The heavyweight vellum, I mean, it's just good. Okay. I'm just making little pieces to put behind my bow. And then, okay, so a couple of you cannot get the vellum in Germany and in Australia and that sort of thing. So if that's the case, I would just recommend looking for a heavyweight vellum that is 40 pounds, at least 40 pounds or more. Okay, so my little bow is gonna go right there. Okay. Then I took the Hip Hip Hooray from the stamp set, which is the perfectly tied stamp set, which is around here somewhere. Do I want to enable dictation? Probably not right now. Thanks, computer, though, for watching out for me. So I use this Hip Hip Hooray, and I stamped it in a couple of different colors. I have the ballet slipper, which is very light and very cute and maybe a good juxtaposition against all of the black and mushroom that we have. Or we can do the Briar Rose, and it's a little darker, but I'm leaning towards the ballet slipper. And I have a couple extra like layers. I think that's just soft and sweet. It depends. Oh, we are so blown out. Sorry, you guys. It depends on how like intense you want your sentiment to be. So I'm gonna like zoom you guys in for a second. My daughter is now texting me. I'm sorry if you can hear that, but I did not put my phone on Do Not Disturb because she's traveling today. And so I wanted to be able to get updates from her. So here is the ballet slipper, which I think is perfect, or Briar Rose, which, if you are a Father of the Bride fan, is also chic, but not as chic, you know? Does anybody else know that movie? Okay. The rose is definitely more legible. I would not disagree with that, but I think I really like the softness of the ballet slipper. I think it's just sweet. So I'm going to do that. Okay. Okay. Let's zoom you back out because otherwise I'll forget and then you'll be looking at like nothing as I work off the screen. Okay. Ballet slipper, Briar Rose. Yeah. I'm going to just layer up a few of these. Okay, so let's do this. I turned up the heat before I went live and now I'm like roasting in here. I love the ballet slipper too. Jamie says, I love this release. I didn't think I was going to need those bows, but I do now. Well, lucky for you, Jamie. I have them linked in the YouTube description below. So yeah, I'm loving that. I actually asked you guys to vote on what you wanted to see on my Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, then you got an opportunity to vote for what I was using today from this new Concord 9th release. And this bundle was a top pick, the top pick from all of you that voted. And so I decided to go for it. And when I started thinking about it, I was like, what am I going to do? And when I looked at it, I was like, I need to make baby cards with this. I'm going to just tuck it like under the tail of the bow and allow it to kind of come off the edge of that of that oval. And there we have it. Card number 1. Warm weather from Texas. New haircut or not, just a new style? I did get it cut today. I'm wearing it straight, which we went over this at the beginning, but I did get bangs, like more bangs, and I don't love them. So that's where we are on the hair. Let me grab another piece of white cardstock because I should have done this ahead of time, but it's been a busy morning. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this because we're going to make a second baby card. And I'm going to trim this down. I need just a panel, but I'm thinking like 3 3/4. And then let's do 5 1/2 so I can make my card base. So this will be my card base. We'll put you up there, sweetie pie. 3 3/4 by 5. So just a 1/2 inch smaller than your normal panel. It was so warm last week. It was so beautiful. And this week it's cold. I don't do cold very well. And cold for me is like anything below 65 because I'm a California girl. That's where I grew up. So I don't tolerate cold very well. So today it's like 54 degrees and I'm freezing. But then I turned up the heat and now I'm roasting. Okay. So card number 2, we're going to make an entire border of bows using all the bows. All the bows. And for this, I'm pulling out an oldie but goodie stamp set from Concord and 9th, and this is the Petal Pushers stamp set. And I thought this congratulations would be perfect. So we're going to stamp this onto our card front, kind of lower right third. And I'm going to bring in my Misty stamping tool because that's going to help me just get everything lined up. And I'm going to just look down and make sure that my baseline is like lining up with one of those grid lines, and then mount it onto my Misty stamping tool. Now we could go one of two ways with this. Hold on, let me see where I put that. Do I have enough room for what I want to do at the bottom? I might move that up like a smidge. Okay. I'm thinking that's a little better because I have some details I want to put at the bottom. So let's look at this and just make sure we're baseline, we're good. Now, should we do briar rose or should we do black or should we do mushroom for this sentiment? That is the question. I'm thinking, let's do briar rose because that's what you all wanted in the first. So we're gonna, my briar rose has a lot of ink and this is a delicate stamp. And so I am like super gingerly inking this stamp, and then I'm going to super gingerly like press it down. I'm not going to give it a lot of force. Okay. Now, you know what would be really fun? It would be really fun to make these bows out of white and make a wedding card. That just came to me. You're welcome. Maybe even an ivory. And if you wanted to do like a touch of shadow on them, what I would do is not blend the whole thing. Not just blend the whole thing, but I would just blend like parts of it in like either Dove or Pebble and call that good for the blending. It says, do you just look through sets for what you want to use, or do you have a book with all the stamps sort of logged? No, I don't log anything. No, that's time that I could, if I'm looking, I'm like, man, I need something I can use for a baby card. I'm just flipping through my sets and looking for what I have. And sometimes I'll go to the site and search, but like I'll go to the Concord and 9th site and search like baby or something like that. But I am not like trying to log everything. It's just, it's too much. And I have so much that comes in all the time. I would literally go mad if I was trying to catalog everything. I can't do it. I mean, if you want to do that and you find that helpful for you, don't let me tell you don't do it, because I seriously think if that's something that you would find helpful, then you should do it. So I'm thinking like a whole row of these bows, just right across here, up and down. Hello, foam adhesive backer. So I'm just going to kind of place these. I'm going to switch a couple of these out. I can see my balance and what I'm wanting. So we're going to actually switch this with this. We're going to switch this with this. And we need to bring in this big poofy bow. And I'm thinking in this color. Yes. And it will go back here like this. Okay. So something like this. We'll move him up. So this is what I'm thinking. Isn't that cute? I love this. So simple, so beautiful, but we're not done. But wait, there's more. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do to make my life not insane. I have pretty much what I want, except for this guy back here, but he's just gonna stay where he is for now. Okay, so we're gonna take this, and this is some mint tape from scrapbook.com, and we're gonna just lay it right across these. And we're gonna pick them all up, okay? And with the exception of this guy, we're gonna move him because he's causing problems. So we'll just move him up to where we can see him. And I'll be able to tell from the back side. Then we're gonna add foam adhesive to all these. You guys are loving this. You know what? If you have to make baby girl cards, like there's nothing like the set for that. I mean, you're just gonna, it's like baby season coming up in church, and like everybody's about to hatch. And so I'm making all the baby cards. Did you guys see the baby card I created with Spellbinders earlier this week? I have 2 more baby cards. So if baby cards are something you're looking to create right now, I have all the inspiration that you need. Nicole Lowe says, I didn't think I needed those bows, but clearly I was wrong. Okay. So the cool thing about these bows too is that you can do something like Megan did yesterday, and I linked Megan's live replay in the YouTube description below. So you can use these and do like multicolored bows, and there's some inspiration on Concord 9th's page to do some multicolored inspiration or multicolored bows. I just thought, let's do a tone on tone, because everybody's doing like a colorful, like multicolors on the stencil, and I think that's a wonderful way to use them. But I wanted to show you something a little different. So this is ink blending on colored cardstock, die cutting them out. It's just, I haven't seen anybody kind of do this yet with their bows. And so I thought this was just a fun way to use them. Something a little different, something die cut. And then for those other ones, I can fussy cut, and I still have, look, I can still make a whole nother card with all these extra bows that I have. And it really did not take us long to make these bows. I think it took 20 minutes maybe to make all the bows, and we're gonna have at least 2, 3, maybe 4 cards out of this. We could totally recreate this card again with the Briar Rose bow. How cute would that be? And you could put like a happy birthday. Let me tell you, when I was in Paris, I went to Paris in January with my sister-in-law. My daughter was with me, and we were shopping, and we went to Prada. Y'all, this bow was so adorable, and my daughter loves to wear like a bow and like hair half up and a bow. And we looked at this bow in Prada. It was like $550. I was like, we can make a bow for less than that. So we're not going to spend $550 on a Prada bow, but you know, it was cute. Deb says, I came in late. Is this one a stencil set? It is a combination stencil, embossing folder, and die set. And then there's also a coordinating stamp set. Also, if you came in late and you have not entered the giveaway, please go do that now. There's a Google form in the description below. I don't want you to miss your opportunity to get in on the giveaway. If you win and you are international, I will probably, in lieu of the actual product, which is the Our House bundle from Concord and 9th, it's actual physical product. Instead of that, if you are international and you win, I will probably send you a gift card instead, because I don't want to ship physical product. Bow jewelry, hair accessories, and clothes at your job. Jen, where do you work? I want to know. Where do you work? My daughter is very, like, she only wears black, so she would not be wearing a pink bow in her hair, that's for sure. Okay. Now, do we have everything taken off? Okay, so do we have all of the backers taken off? We do. We're going to take this, and if you wanted more like mercy and grace when you're putting this down, what you could do is put liquid glue on the back of the foam adhesive. But I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to allow the tails to just kind of tuck in around the sentiment. Do you see how they're kind of tucking in around the sentiment? Then I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to place them down all in one, and then I'm going to do this. I don't know if I love you here, but you're there, so that's where you shall be. Isn't that cute? I love this. My sister owns clothing boutiques, Lee and Birch. I am the controller, so I do all the accounting stuff. Ah, interesting. Are they on Instagram? Can I check them out there? Okay, so now we have congratulations. We have all our bows. And if you know me, I'm thinking we need to add a little bit of this black and white stripe to the bottom of this to give it a little bit of a modern touch. Love that. So this is a scrap that I have. So I'll just cut it off of this scrap. I'm thinking 3/8 of an inch. Let's 3/8, which is 1 tick mark more than the quarter. Okay, 3/8. Everybody's regretting not getting the bows. Well, I am sorry. My lights went off over here. Let me turn them back on. I don't know what's happening with them. Okay, thinking like that. I love the black and white stripe on the bottom. You could skip that part. You could leave it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do me. Okay, so the thing about a black and white stripe that I've learned over the years is you kind of want to strategically place it where some of your black is going to overlap where you're going to cut it off. And the reason is you're going to end up with like a big white space. So on this left edge, if I can get it to slide, I'm going to make sure that I have some black. And then on the right edge, I'm going to look through. So I need to scooch this over just a tiny bit more so we get a little black on this right edge as well. So do you see this little bit of black? Because if I cut it between the stripes and there's no black, then it just looks like an accident. So I'll show you what I'm talking about when we get this positioned. Let me pull my tails out. Okay. So let's trim this. I'm going to do it from the back side. I regret when I do it from the front side because there's not as much to butt up your blade against. Okay, do you see how there's just a little bit of black here and a little bit of black here? You don't want to cut like where it would be here because then you have this big gap of white. Even just that little tiny bit of black helps for it to not, you know, it feels right. And I'm thinking we mat it on carnation cardstock. or you could put it on a carnation card base. I'm thinking maybe just a mat of carnation and then onto a white card base. Yeah. Okay. So this is 3 3/4 by 5. We're going to go just the teensiest bit bigger. We're going to go to 3 7/8. Trust me. And 5 1/8. So this is 5 1/4. This is 5 1/8. Because the holes in my trimmer there, you cannot see the 5 1/8 mark very well. Okay, then we're going to put this on. This is the finest, okay, of mats. And then we're going to put this here. And then you could add some little sequins. Wouldn't that be cute? Oh, I love this. I love this. This is right up my alley. Right up my little girly lovin' alley. Okay. This could be a birthday card. I'm making it a baby card, but you know, could be a wedding card. Wouldn't it be fun in white bows? Vellum bows. Although vellum would be really hard to like get onto there without, you know, everybody seeing your adhesive. Okay, let's do this. Little bit of foam adhesive on the back side of this. Because you know me, I'm not afraid of a big card. I like big cards and I cannot lie. Okay. I'm glad you guys are loving this. Okay, you have just a couple minutes to ask some questions, to get your entry in for the giveaway. The giveaway winner must be present to win. I'm going to look for you to reply back in the comments below. So I'm getting ready to choose that here in just a moment. I'm just looking down to make sure I get this onto my card base straight. I don't hate that at all. Oh my goodness, these are so much fun. I love the bows. And look at all these bows that I have left still. Look at all these bows that we could create another card with. But, you know, I can't keep you here all day long. So let me flip over for just a second. I'm going to go over and I'm going to check out our Google form and see how many responses. You guys have a really good chance of winning. There's only 37 of you. And I'm going to go, where did my keyboard go? Maybe I should bring you to my face for a minute while I do this. We're going to go to random.org. Okay, and we're going to pick a number between, 39. Let's see. 1 and 39. 39. Generate 32. So someone at the end. Individual. We're going to go to 32. And the winner is Jamie Richards. Are you here, Jamie Richards? Let me know in the comments. I just accidentally opened Affinity Designer. We don't need you right now. Let me just close that out. Jamie Richards, are you here? Let me know in the comments. So what's going to happen is, Jamie, you're going to email me from the email that you entered on the Google Sheet, and you're going to email me within the next 24 hours. if you are here. If I don't hear from you, Jamie, in the next couple of minutes, then I am going, yay, there she is. Jamie, you're here. Okay, so Jamie, email me, Carissa, it's 1 R and 2 S's, like Marissa with a C. Let's see, email me at carissa@sprinkledwithglitter.com in the next 24 hours. Send me your mailing address. If you're not in the US, let me know that so that I can email you a gift card or something like that. But email me your mailing address and I'll get that out to you. I did see that Sid had a comment, a question. Congrats, Jamie. We're so glad. And I'm glad you're here. She said, before you go live, do you sit and spend some time on the design and after that you go live? No. Generally, Sid, what I do is I think of something in my head and we go for it. Yesterday, I did experiment with die cutting the embossing folder a little bit to get these bows. So yesterday, I did do a little experimentation and kind of thought out what I wanted to do. But generally speaking, I just go live with an idea in my head and some products that I want to use, and we go from there. Okay, a few things I don't want you to miss out on. And I mentioned them at the beginning of the live, and then I used my paper to do some stamping, but this is my little reminder here. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. So thanks for being here today. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. There is a link for the Spellbinders die cutting sale in my YouTube description below. It's an affiliate link. But some of my Shine Bright collection, like the disco balls and that, is on sale in that die cutting sale. So if you want to shop the sale at Spellbinders, there's a link below for that. So don't miss that. We did our giveaway, and don't forget to check out Megan's replay of her live stream, which she used the perfectly tied bundle from Concord 9th yesterday. Do you guys love these cards? I am loving these cards. They feel like so like papery, sophisticated, stationery. I love the addition of the stripes and the dots, and I think that was such a fun way to bring in a small piece of Christina's release. Keep in mind that I will have a pre-recorded video next week featuring the thanks words dies from Christina Werner and the missing your hugs bundle. I have lots of videos coming next week. I will not be live next week on Friday because I'm going to be out of town, but I do have a lot of videos coming, and so be sure you stay tuned here. Be sure you're following me on Instagram because you'll find reels and reminders, and you get to kind of peek into my private life a little bit in my stories, so don't forget to follow me over there. Thank you all for being here. Happy Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. And until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day. Thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and turn on the notifications here on my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of my card making and paper crafting video tutorials. Thanks again, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.